All right, AOA podcast. It is a Monday. It is so good to be here with you. The lead story on this episode is a doozy. Virginia Giuffre, the famed Epstein victim who rallied and took down Prince Andrew, was a real leader amongst all the Epstein victims. Court cases, historic fight. She's clinging to life. Doctors have given her 4 days to live. The circumstances regarding her, what seems like eventual demise, is shocking. And I will never, ever, 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 ever be convinced that this was purely an accident. Wait until you hear the circumstances around this. It's insane. A second Impractical Joker accused of SA. Morgan Wallen's quick SNL exit. And we got an update on Roger Daltrey's health situation. Oh, my friends, that's a podcast. All right, make sure you hit the like button. Helps us with the algorithms. Always big on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. If you're watching there, make sure you're sharing to all your socials. We could always use the help, especially to those who don't believe our government is on the up and up. And by our government, I mean all governments. This is an insane story. I mean, this is crazy. I had heard some rumblings earlier today. I got a weird, cryptic message that Virginia Giuffre in the hospital. Now, I get weird messages from all sorts of people all the time. I don't think anything of it. Hit the net, look around, nothing. Ask some questions to the message that I was given, nothing. Turns out it was just like a dead end, but it all turns out to be true. This is the report from today. Virginia Giuffre, who was the most prominent victim in all of the Epstein accusations, Ghislaine Maxwell, Prince Andrew, she wound up settling with him after that historic lawsuit that she filed. She's a mother of 3. She's 41 years old. You can see the photograph that is on the title of this episode, the thumbnail of this episode. A bus crashed into her car, sent her to the hospital. She's basically suffering from kidney failure as a result. She tells people the doctor has given her 4 days to live. What kind of weird, bizarre, random, in all the conspiracy theory stuff that we have dealt with in and around this Epstein, going from him being found in the jail cell to all the stuff with Ghislaine Maxwell, to all the stuff with Jean-Luc Brunel, to all the stuff with McAfee and the antivirus guy, all this stuff that we have been through. And there was one champion throughout it all. It was Virginia Giuffre. She had spoken out. She had taken on these people. She had helped put Ghislaine Maxwell behind bars. She, filed that lawsuit against Prince Andrew. I was so proud of her. I was a little disappointed when she settled and didn't take it all the way. But I understand she's a victim. I understand things might be tough. She got together with a bunch of other victims. And again, she was like a leader. She was a mouthpiece. She led the charge against, no doubt about it, one of the more horrific crimes of our lifetime. When you think about all the awful and terrible things that we have seen in our lifetime, none have been more tragic and horrible than this. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Aunt, what about, this thing or that terrorist attack and this and that? Everything has been horrible. What's worse about the Epstein stuff, it was ongoing and he was protected. By not only our government, but other governments. And I know it sounds nutty to say this, and conspiracy theory, I feel like I should be wearing a tinfoil hat here. But facts are facts. This guy was convicted, got out, sweetheart deal, tried to get all future allies who were accused a pass. The mysterious, suicide in prison. I mean, all of it stinks. To this day, we have so many unanswered questions. To this day, despite our current administration's cheerleading that they were going to unmask everything and release everything, we have more questions now than we ever had before. And now, the main impetus, besides the fine folks over at the Miami Herald, who, again, those journalists blew this thing up in the first place. I always like to give them credit because they were the ones who really kept this story alive. They kept on this story. I don't know if we get the big expose against Epstein if it wasn't for the journalists, the hardcore journalists. We give mainstream media a lot of crap. They deserve it a lot of times. Sometimes they're brilliant. Sometimes they're absolutely necessary. Sometimes they show you why we have a constitutional right to freedom of speech. And this was one instance where they did. And the Miami Herald's work in this is second to none. And it all leads to the most vocal victim got hit by a bus and is now suffering from kidney failure and has been given 4 days to live. I don't care if you show me all sorts of evidence that this bus driver's brakes randomly failed and it was just a weird happenstance and it was a 1 in a million shot. I don't care what you show me from here on out. I will never believe this was an accident. Ever. Ever. I will never feel good about this ever. It just doesn't make any sense. How does this happen? How does somebody survive the worst abuse trafficking ring known to man in the history of our humanity? Go through the fight and the battle of speaking up against it. Survive all of that over the course of, I don't even know, 10, 15 years. I'm saying since everything was brought to light and exposed. Move halfway around the world to Australia, all to just randomly get hit by a bus going 60 miles per hour on a random, Sunday. How does that happen? How does that happen? I don't mean to sound like Janine here. Sorry, Janine. You're our in-house resident conspiracy theorist, though. She knows that. This is not a surprise to her. How does that happen? And we're all supposed to go, oh, yeah, sounds like a bus accident. What? What school bus do you know, by the way, goes 60 miles per hour? I don't know about you, but in the States, where's Aussie Annie? Can we get all the Australian? There's Aussie Annie. There's also another, by the way, there's another Aussie Annie. We've talked about this, right? There's a second Aussie Annie, but she doesn't want to be called Aussie Annie, but she's an Annie from Australia. I'm not sure if anybody from Australia is named anything but Annie. I'd love to get confirmation on that. Is it like an Italian family over there in that country where everybody's just named, Anthony or Michael or Paul? That's all Italian people know how to name their kids. I don't know if Australia's the same way. They just, is it a girl? Annie, it is. And then they just move. I don't know how it works. But in Australia, do the buses go 60 miles per hour? Because in the United States of America, they barely go over 45. There is never a time where a bus is speeding. And now all of a sudden, a school bus, slams into the most infamous Epstein victim and just crushes her. And we are supposed to believe that this was all purely and entirely an accident. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Again, I don't claim to be a conspiracy theorist, but people, how are we supposed to sit here and believe that this is an accident? I'm sorry. This is fucking crazy. And the craziest part, she said everything already. Was there more to say? Was there more to keep her quiet? I don't even buy that. I just feel like she fucked a bunch of people's shit up, and they sat there and they smiled and they waited for the right time. And when everything seemed like, this is all past its prime, they made sure she got hers. I am literally going to take by the way, this is the last Epstein episode we will ever do. Okay. Right. We will never do another Epstein episode. I can't afford it. I can't. I've got kids to raise. I gotta be here till the end. So we will be erasing all the Epstein stuff we have ever put on the internet. It will be gone. It will be gone. I'm going to record an episode in a couple days saying how I think Jeffrey Epstein was innocent and wrongly accused, and how I'm a big fan of the Clintons, right? And all the other, and the CIA. Love the CIA. Huge CIA guy. I believe they've never done anything wrong. And I think Prince Andrew's a good guy. I like him. He seems nice. I don't want to say anything bad about him. You know, and all the other nice people in our government's keeping us safe. I'm just going to put that on the record. When you go and search Anthony on Air, Jeffrey Epstein, all you're going to see is a video of me going, yeah, I don't know. He seemed like a, solid financier. All the rest of it, I'm not so sure about. I think he was wrong. He was given a, bad rap. What do they say? Bad rap? I don't know if Paul's being a wise ass here, but was she driving on the proper side of the road? I don't know. I'm not sure. Who's right here? The Americans or the Australian/English people? I don't know. But thanks for bringing this up, Paul. I also love Mossad. I think Mossad, solid organization, right? Long history of just doing good things for people all around the world. You know what I'm saying? Just nothing to see here. It's fine. Should be good. You know what I'm saying? Should be okay. I've never said, I'm not entirely sure Ghislaine Maxwell should be behind bars right now. I'd love to get her one of those, what do they call them? Hearings? Parole hearings? Seems like there were some hasty decisions made during that trial. Am I right, Ghislaine? I'm with you, kid. Don't worry. We're going to work together. I'm going to start a GoFundMe to get that Ghislaine Maxwell out of prison. That would be great. Just know that me and my 2 children and my beautiful wife have no issues with Epstein and anybody who's ever associated with Epstein and anybody who can have anybody killed. Not killed. I take that, but we're going to scrub that one too from the internet. Let's scrub that as well. I don't want that getting out. There's no problems here. I just want everybody to know. I'd like to make an official statement. Governments around the world, you have nothing to worry about from the Anthony on Air podcast. We're on your side. No matter what government you are or what side of whatever issue is currently making headlines in the world today, I want you to know we believe you and we're here to put any rebellions down with you. Okay? Just putting that out there. Future headline, truck full of potatoes flipped on Anthony and his AAA employee. Is that supposed to be AOA employee? Or are you talking about the person who's also works for AAA that also works for us? Because we got a couple of those. We've got to help employ the AAA people. They don't pay over there, so we try and pay them. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to say a bad thing about AAA. I don't know what their ties to all of this are. Yeah. And now you're sitting there and you're going, Ant, do you have... Oh, I get it, because I call AAA all the time. Now I get it. Sorry. I'm a little behind. You got to understand something, Robin. I'm a little flummoxed on all this information. You might be thinking to yourself, Ant, what's the other information around this? Like, what else can you tell us? Nothing. We don't know anything. All we know is she was creamed by a bus going 60 miles per hour. She released a statement through her publicist telling everybody that she has 4 days to live. She would like to see her children, who, by the way, she wasn't living with because her and her husband just happened to have been recently separated. So she said, and I quote here, I've gone into kidney renal failure. They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. But you know what they say about wishes: shit in one hand and wish in the other. And I guarantee it's going to be shit at the end of the day. Thank you all for being wonderful people of the world and for being great parts of my life, she said. All the circumstances behind the crash and what happened in Australia where she was, we don't know. We have no idea. No accident reports. No, and I don't deny that there was an accident. I'm just saying this is all such a breaking story where we have no other information yet, other than she's laid up. She's got 4 days to live, and that is basically it. And I mean, you look at this photograph of her, and it's horrific. I mean, it is horrific. What are the odds? Seriously, what are the odds that somebody so prominent like this in Australia could have gotten hit by a school bus going 60 miles per hour and just be purely an accident? Explain that to me. I will say, whoever's behind all this stuff, hanging yourself with bed sheets in a prison that you could easily stand up on, getting hit by a school bus. I forget how the other guy, Jean-Luc, they're very creative. They're all these very weird, sus circumstances. And it's just like wacky enough that you go, oh, okay, maybe. I'm just having a hard time doing that here. But I will erase this part of the internet. This part from the internet, and I will say that I believe, dub this over my previous statement, Ghislaine Maxwell unfortunately died in an accident. Nothing you could do about it. Nothing shady here. Clip that part. Don't clip the part where I say I'll never believe that this was an accident. How could you? How could any human being, adult person, just go, oh, that one who caused all that trouble for all the people that were being protected in the child trafficking ring? Yeah, sure, that was just a whoopsie daisy, as we like to call it. Whoops. Oh, whoops. A fucking 60 mile per hour school bus. Have you ever seen anything like this? I mean, seriously. Have you ever seen anything like this? Virginia's dad released a statement. He was praising her, saying, I quote, I love you and praying you get the correct treatment and live a long, healthy life. If there's anything I could do in the world, people are reaching out. Does she recover from this? Maybe. I don't know. But take a look at that fucking face. She's openly saying she got 4 days to live with kidney failure. I mean, this is creepy. Now, Jay Sabs is here, which I'm always grateful for. However, I will pull the plug on this if you get us in any more trouble with people who can kill us.
Oh. Well, who is this?
Okay. Remember the girl who accused Epstein and did all the things, Virginia Giuffre?
Do you know I just came on, I just see a girl, this picture, and that's it. I don't see any headline.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, you're right. Okay. I'm sorry. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. You're right. You know what? 5 points off of my scorecard for this episode. You're correct. I falsely lashed out at you.
Thank you. I accept your apologies. Let's move on.
I'd like to also apologize to Jeffrey Epstein and his estate. I don't think he did anything wrong. Nothing to see here. All right. Yeah, this is crazy. You love conspiracy theories, though, right? Could you believe that the woman who led the charge against Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Prince Andrew randomly got hit by a school bus in Australia going 60 miles per hour?
Yes, I do remember this.
Do you believe that that's an accident?
No.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Nothing more to see here. Moving along to the second Impractical Joker that has now been accused of sexual assault, as they say. This is Murr this time around. Now, this was, I forget, where did Murr fall on your list, J Sabs, of Impractical Jokers you want to bang?
Second to first.
Second, so that would be second place?
Yes.
Okay. All right, just making sure. Over the weekend, accusations came flying about Murr, fully accompanied with screenshots and everything else, which is always just wonderful to have a screenshot. Right. How do people, it's 2025. I mean, even if this happened a few years ago, how do people think that shit's not going to get, people aren't going to take screenshots of shit? I don't get it.
Right, come on.
How could you talk to anybody? I have bad news for celebrities. You've passed. I know everybody thinks, "Oh, I'm famous now. I can score chicks or dudes so easily. I'm just going to be getting laid all the time now." No, there's no such thing as people not taking a screenshot or documenting it. Right. You know what I mean? It doesn't exist. You passed that time where you could be a famous person that's, getting lucky and you're scoring on your significant other behind their back. It's over. That time has passed. Let me bring this up for everybody. I'll give you some of the screenshots because they're fucking creepy.
Let me see. Let me see if it's creepy or not. I'll be the judge.
I'm going to lay out my case, and you tell me if it's creepy or not. Okay. Here's the... let's put us nice and small and put this nice and big. There we go. Okay. All right. So this comes from Lucky Teeter or at the MAGA Hulk. Sorry, wasn't prepared for that. I didn't think we were getting our news from at the MAGA Hulk these days, but apparently we are. So this is some text messages from James Murray and a young lady, which starts with, "Hey, when I turn 18 in a year and a half, do you think we could go out?" And James's response was, "Ha, you're awesome. Once you turn 18, email me the same question and I'll be happy to answer." She was 16 still at this time. Then she says, "You're going to stay single until then?" He says, "I'm going to do my best." Not trying to seem really creepy or anything, but I asked Sal on his page. I don't know what it is. I think it's in the next one. Hold on. I think he asks her, here's one where she says, "James, I love you." And he says, "I love you too." With all that talk about, apparently they were talking about dildos. She goes, "I'm a bit scared." He laughs. "Ha, oh my God, please tell me they're not right or close." And he says, "I will not say anything until we meet in person. About to pass out. Have a good night. You're so unterrifying. Have a..." Okay?
Sorry.
It's okay. He writes her back, "You're so cute. Thank you. I love the video." Apparently she sent a video or something. She says, "Ha, thanks. Anytime." In this one, he says, "Don't post screenshots of this." He's like, "I don't want to sound creepy or anything, but don't post screenshots of this."
Too late.
Yeah. What a fucking creeper these guys are. And this is the Reddit story, by the way, if anybody wants to see. This person is the first person who put this allegations out there. Now, none of this has been confirmed. Again, these are all screenshots that are ripping across the internet. I don't believe he's responded yet, but he is currently on the Errors tour to make fun of what's her name? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's on the Eras tour. He's on the Errors tour. Like, I've made an error in baseball or in life. That's a bit much for me. I mean, I can't fucking believe this guy is on a thing called the Errors tour, and he's got all these fucking creeper weirdo messages. By the way, Impractical Jokers had to yank some episodes off because I don't know if you know this, but Impractical Jokers plays 24/7 on True TV or what. It's that you can't. It's on cable all the time. This fucking show, and they had to yank a couple of the episodes because there were some jokes about sleeping with young girls in the show, because those guys were always trying to get the other ones to say weird shit. But it's such a bad look now with what happened with Joe Gatto and now this fucking creeper weirdo.
I don't know.
What are you going to do here this time around, J-Subs? Victim blame again? Victim shame? Did this
Well,
girl have it coming? Tell me.
I'm sorry, but
No, I'm teasing you. By the way, the last girl, people are still giving her shit. They still don't believe her.
yeah, I don't believe that girl. And like, not for nothing, what are you doing at 16 years old messaging a 35-year-old man? And vice versa.
You know, I get, I think it's more the vice versa part, right? I think that's really the issue. I get that. But if you're fucking 35, I mean, come on, man. Don't just be like, oh, thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. Like when I first saw this, I saw the love you too thing. And I thought, okay, being all nice to a fan. I get it. And then I saw all the other things and I was like, okay, can't really justify that dildo conversation with a fucking 16-year-old.
Right. I mean, but still, like, at 16 years old, why would you? You know what, though? Like, there is an undercover thing going, and has been for years, where these young girls try to trap these old guys. Vice versa. It's not even the 35 going for the younger. It's the 6. Because these girls know that, first of all, they bribe them with, you're older than me, you could get in trouble, so you have to send me money. And it's really true. Or I'm going to post our conversation.
Yeah.
Or they like, what's it called? What they used to do on that show where they used to try to get the young girls and boys. Entrapment. There you go.
Yeah, it's like a sting operation.
Yep.
Yeah. But here's the thing with that. It's really, if you're not a creeper, you don't really bind those things because you're not going to fall for them.
Right.
You know, like if somebody messaged you like, hey, I'm 15, you know, you want to, first of all, it's different for you. You'd be like, you should age 50 years and then message me back.
60.
These guys are waiting for them to age 2 or 3 years. You're waiting for people to age 60 years. That's the difference.
Right. Still
feels predatory though, doesn't it? For the older people, just confused old men just giving over their millions to J-Sab. She's got a hell of a racket going. The point is entrapment is one thing, but also if you're not a fucking creeper, you know, like there is no entrapment. I mean, be honest. If a fucking 16-year-old kid emailed you and was like, I love you on the podcast, can we meet up? You would not give that person the time of day.
Oh, yeah, sure. You're right. No, you're right. No, I wouldn't.
You would be like, oh my God, thanks so much. You know, appreciate it.
If they're 66.
You do.
16, 66.
Yeah. All right. If it's 66-year-old can make his own decisions, you know.
But here's my thing, and I'm not victim blaming. I'm really not. But for me personally, at 16 years old, I would never think to even talk to someone who is in their 20s, let alone 35. Like, I'm sorry, it's different. It is different these days, though. I hate to say it, but it really is. Like, social media, you have more access to send pictures to guys. Like, it's just...
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You're right. You nailed it there. The thing that's different is now you have access. 25 years ago, if you liked somebody, an entertainer, a singer, a performer, whatever, you didn't have access to them. Now you could literally be in their direct messages.
Right. But my problem more so is a guy's going to do it no matter what, because he's a male. He has no, what you call it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Filter.
Governor.
No,
it's just a hole.
It's just a hole. You know, and I don't doubt that there are girls out there, women that are that see money or an opportunity to con somebody. I get that.
No, what I'm saying is there's something wrong with these girls too. I'm sorry, but there is. How can you go over, like...
You're saying the balls to even go after them?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well,
because you know what you're getting yourself into.
Right. But I think some people are like that. I think some people really don't have a fear or like the potential embarrassment of these things coming out or coming to light just doesn't bother some people.
No.
Some people have no fear. They have the like. I understand what you're saying because you're kind of like as a 16-year-old, like the lack of confidence I had as a 16-year-old. I would never have the balls to be like, message an older woman celebrity and be like, hey, you know, you want to hang out? You want to talk about things?
Hey, how about this? Not even a celebrity. A fucking 35-year-old man at 16 years old? No. I'm sorry. No. I I don't.
You're saying they're looking for trouble no matter what.
Yes, I do. Celebrity or not, that is. Sorry. Fly, fly, not fly, NY. Poor parents. That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's a bit of that too. I'm fucking terrified of the social media. I'm terrified.
I'm gonna tell you this story, which I think is really fucking. I'm sorry. I know someone who, when he was 14 or 15, started talking to this. No, he wasn't 14. He was 16. He started talking to this older guy. And I mean, like, the guy was in his 40s. He was gay, the guy. Both were, obviously.
Okay.
Started talking to him online. Told his parents. The guy wanted to meet him. I don't know if they waited till he was 17 or 18. The parents took this kid, their son, and met him in Florida. What the fuck are you doing?
That's really strange.
It's very strange and it's 100% true. But also, why are you letting your son talk to a 40-something-year-old guy and you're 16 and 17 years old? Come on. That's weird. I'm sorry, but that's just weird to me.
I don't disagree. Paul brings up a really good point here. Didn't teens hang out, stalk rock stars? Can we get you cough drops or something? You okay?
No. I have my allergies are killing me.
I'm worried about you. Is it just allergies? Are you sure?
Maybe not. We'll see.
Because it sounds a little. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to get you worried, but that cough sounds a little worrisome.
It's been since Saturday when it turned 70 degrees here, and that was it.
Saturday in New York was the most nothing day that fucked up the entire tri-state area. I've
Really?
never seen New York shut down like we did on Saturday.
What do you mean?
We had, for the people around the world who have no idea, on Saturday in New York, we had like all of a sudden it was going to be 70 degrees on a Saturday and sunny. And the whole entire world was like, let's go enjoy the first super warm day of the year. Right. And around 1 or 2 o'clock, it went from 70 to like 49 in 3 minutes. And
by you, not by me though.
Oh, really? Because I thought in the city too, people were complaining how fucking cold it was in the afternoon after it being 70 in the morning.
You dropped first.
Oh,
we didn't drop till about 5 or 6, but they said it broke a record because of how fast it dropped. In an hour, it dropped 30 degrees.
Yeah,
it was not a lie. It's not a exaggeration.
Insane. It was insane. I was out with the kids. We literally had the windows down. We were driving around because we had to do a bunch of errands. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, boy, that breeze is really cool. And my wife goes, maybe that's the cold front we're supposed to get. And I'm like, I thought it was going to be nice all day. So we rolled the windows up. And then since yesterday and today, all I've heard from are people that are like, my allergies are messed up. People were complaining online how awful it was. Saturday messed us up.
Because I was babysitting, I took my kids and my nieces to the park. So first of all, when I woke up, I couldn't even put any eye makeup on. That's how bad my eyes were itching me. Oof. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. But they want to go to the park. Yay, let's go. It was... I knew I shouldn't have went because I'm paying for it now. But I have to start taking allergy medicine before it starts to get nicer out because I don't know what I'm going to do.
Mm,
But then I
yeah,
forget, and then I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I know. I don't know what grows around the park by my house that I take my kids to over by the school. I think they're anti-Anthony flowers is what I call them. But
Oh, yes.
every time I take the kids there, I'm just miserable for the next 2 days. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on over here. There's something over there that I do not jive with. Look at this
Very
fucking
annoying.
Robin. I've had a cough for a month. I'd love for you to go to the doctor, Robin. I don't want also to make false accusations here, but you do have a cigarette in your mouth in the photograph. I don't know if that's digitally added in or not, but
Right.
that might be part of it. Here's the thing. I want everybody to go get a checkup because we're about to start April and that's 420 month. So let's all make sure we're nice and healthy so we can celebrate the 420 show together with everybody.
Woo.
Got some wacky shit for the 420 show, J-Sabs. Wacky shit.
Crazy.
Absolutely absurd, crazy stuff. Anyway, the Impractical Jokers are creepers. If I was the other two, I would just be coming out right now going, hey, everybody, here are my DMs. I just want you to know this is not a team issue, that this is just 50% of the team. You know, this is just 50% of the team. What a fucking uncomfortable. And by the way, I would be fucking furious if I was the fat guy. What's his name? Q?
Yeah.
And then Hey Babe. What's the Hey Babe
Sal
guy's name?
Vulcano.
Thank you, Sal. I would be fucking furious if I was those two because these two shitheads are basically taking their entire brand, their whole life, and dragging it through the mud. I'd be more pissed if I was Q because at least Sal Vulcano's got a stand-up career and a podcast career going. I don't know if Q does anything outside of the let's make jokes with people on the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
if I was Q, I'd be pissed.
Well,
they're fucking with his money now. You know what I'm saying? And you don't do that.
right. Oh, no, husband just walked in the room. He made a face at me. I don't know what he. Okay, he didn't pull his penis out, so I'm good.
I was gonna say maybe I was waiting for a little penis flash.
I learned my lesson a long time ago. Well, not really. If you don't want something out, you should not put it in writing.
Yes.
Especially nowadays, okay?
Yes. You can't trust people.
Yeah, I don't trust no one.
I don't like texting you and Frank, to be honest with you. I like dropping a little phone call.
Right?
That's why.
Just call me. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, why? Just call me.
And then I always go like this. You're not recording this, are you? I always say that.
Right. Because I have a legal obligation to tell you.
Exactly. Keep my shit tight. No, I don't even like messaging. I really don't like talking to people. You know what it is too? I hate we're in a texting and email society right now, which I don't love because you can't hear inflection or, because you could type something, it could sound horrible and you're like laughing. And then all of a sudden people are like, why are you being a dick to me? Like, what?
Yes, I know. Yes.
Like, get the fuck out of here. It could sound awfully confrontational if you're not like, I'll get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
I agree.
Speaking of getting the fuck out of here, did you see Morgan Wallen leaving SNL?
Yeah, I don't think it was that big of a deal. You think so?
I don't know. I know my whole take on this is why is everybody losing their shit over this guy walking off?
Because usually they really do wait around. They talk to people. They give high fives. They joke around. He just exited front of stage. Has he been on there before?
I don't know. I think so. I know didn't he lose an SNL appearance because he was screaming the N-word in a drunken rage one night on the street? Wasn't that Morgan Wallen?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the first time Morgan Wallen was booked on SNL, he got caught dropping the N-word. By the way, speaking of inflection, not that word should ever be said, but there is a nice way to say it and a not nice way to say it, and his was
Exactly.
definitely the not nice way to say it.
Well, there you go.
And then I think he got on one other time. He went on the Forgive Me for Being a Racist tour, and everybody accepted him back, which is easier when you write really good country songs. I hear he's a phenomenal country artist.
I don't know, because I don't like country.
Yeah, no, I know, but I feel like a lot of people I know love him, and then you go, what about the whole racist thing? And they're like, yeah, let's ignore that.
Right.
Let's like,
Okay.
yeah, they're like, I'm not proud of that, but have you heard this song? It's really good.
Right.
Which I get, because we all have something from our favorite artists that we're ignoring. You know what I mean? It might not be racism, but people say shit sometimes. I
Right.
don't want to get into that. It's not important. The weird thing though is I think he went on Instagram and was like, I got to get back to God or something, or he said some shit. And I think that's what sent people over the edge with this whole thing.
That what?
That when he left, he was like, oh, I got to get back in God's country or something like that. And I think I think it's a big deal because we kind of became this right left thing. If anybody, there are people that are so politically obsessed in our world that they take any little tiny thing that they can fit into their right versus left fight. They blow it up. It becomes massive.
Yep.
That's the only thing I can think of, because if he doesn't send that Instagram message out afterwards, I don't know if it's as big of a deal. But also, he had to know what he was doing, because like you just said, he tweeted afterwards. Oh no, he put on Instagram stories, "Get me to God's country," right after.
Oh.
With a private jet, meaning he didn't go to any after parties or anything, which the host and the musical guest almost always do. But he did exit right next to the camera, so he knew what he was doing.
Oh yeah, he knew. Okay. Well, maybe he just didn't like them. They could be assholes, I heard. So
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Everybody who's ever been on that show has had a little bit of. By the way, the Jay Moore wrote a book about being on SNL like 20 years ago, and it's one of the greatest reads that I've ever had in my entire life, because that whole, oh my God, that whole show is so fucked up, and it was much worse 20, 30 years ago than it is now. He was on, I think, in like 94. It must be going on 30 years since Jay Moore has been on that show. Oh, he talks about, and then he shares these stories, and then you hear all the other SNL people say the same shit. Like, I think it was Mike Myers who said he spent the whole first year or 6 months of his tenure just writing in the hallway. And like writing in the reception area, because nobody gave him an off. Nobody said, hey, go sit in this office. And he was so worried that if he was like, hey, do I have an office? People would find out that he wasn't really supposed to be there and would tell him to leave, and then he wouldn't have a job.
Really?
Like, that's how fucking weird and bizarre. Yeah.
See,
supposedly you never know. And I have heard this from upwards of 30 performers who have been on that show, that they never knew that they were actually hired, because it's not like Lorne Michaels says, hey, you're hired, you got the job. You get a meeting with him, you speak with him for a little while, and he goes, okay, thanks. And then that's it. And then they either tell your agent or they don't, but there's no like feeling of comfort there ever.
No, so he's an asshole.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still that way. And if you read Jay Moore's book, which I wish somebody would, I don't know what the name of it is. If you search Jay Moore SNL book, I'm sure it's around. But he was like, there was nobody that was like, hey, this happens here, and this is what everybody's had a job, right? Everybody know, you go to the new place, and there's always somebody who kind of like just takes you under their wing and is like, hey, don't bother John on Tuesdays. Right. He's a fucking grump, and here's where this is the good salad place where you can steal salads and not pay for them. And, here's where the good pizza is, that kind of shit. Nobody does that at SNL. Like, nobody fucking looks out for you. You got to figure it out on your, at least that's how it was back in the day. So maybe he had an issue with that. I don't know. Maybe it was a liberal conservative thing. I don't know. But he did exit pretty quickly from that stage with the fucking camera right next to the camera. So I don't know. I saw Kenan Thompson was on the local Fox station with the Rosanna Scotto,
Oh yeah.
MILF legend, absolute MILF legend, and he he was like, yeah, I don't know what that, like, he didn't even care to comment, which is such a classic like Keenan thing, because he's like, I've been on that show for fucking 30 years. I don't care like what the musical guest does. I don't give a shit.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
Okay.
he didn't say like I don't give a shit, but he was like, I don't know. I don't know what his deal was. He's like, I'm reading what everybody else is reading. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of
I
weird.
know they have like a crazy big party afterwards, so he did not stay for that.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He got on that plane and moseyed on out of there, which is again, if I was found out to do something horrible and lose my chance at SNL, I feel like I would just be nicer to people all the time and try not to like ruffle any feathers because of what a gigantic dick I was that one time.
Right.
I don't know if that's just me or not, but
probably just you.
Okay, it's entirely possible. I can't argue with it there.
Right.
We got one last story, J-Sabs. I don't know. Is there anything we need to catch up with you on? I feel like there was a cousin update not that long ago that I don't know if we ever took it to the airwaves. Or was I not supposed to say that?
No, we talked about it on here.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if we did or not. But can I tell you, I'm increasingly concerned with social media and our kids, our children, my children.
Ooh, why is that?
I'll tell you why. Because my daughter asked Santa for a vanity this year, like a makeup vanity.
Oh,
like
yeah.
She's so makeup obsessed. And now, and by the way, I wish Santa Claus would have really brought a lighter vanity because I put it together last weekend and my back is still fucking hurting.
Pussy. Right.
Oh, I went to go pick this thing up and drag it up the stairs and I just heard like, you know when you feel snapping?
Yes, I know what you mean.
Oh my God. I couldn't walk last Sunday night. I could not walk.
Really?
I don't know what I did. And then I was like constantly bending over and sitting with my legs crossed and getting up and blending. And I don't know if you know this about me. Physical activity is not really my thing.
No, get out of here.
Really great at sitting on the couch. Once we get more active than that, I start to get into some trouble. And
yeah, I get it.
Fuck my shit up so bad. But anyway, so I set this up now and she's sitting at this thing the whole time. She's just living at this vanity set. And it's really nice. It's got a big mirror and shit and she fucking loves it. She had a friend over on Friday. They both sat there. And like I came out of the studio. I was in the studio and I came out of the studio and I went to go get pizza and I come back for them and put the pizza. They're so excited. Her friend is such a nice girl, and I look at the both of them and they just look like Mimi from the Drew Carey show. They're just blue. What do you call the eye thing? Mascara, blush? What is that?
Eyeshadow, mascara.
Eyeshadow. Yeah, it's just blue. It's just all of it. And I'm like, if this is how they are now, how are they going to be on social media? And by the way, I'm saying this by judging social media standards in 2025. My daughter is how old, J-Sabs? Pop quiz?
She is 7.
Good. I just want to make sure you knew. My daughter's 7 and figure I can keep her off of social media till what? 14?
Yeah.
You think? I mean, how much, right? How much longer could you stand out without them being the weird kids who don't have?
Sorry, yeah, I know.
Right? And so in 7 years from now, what is that even going to look like? And how do I make sure she's not DMing an Impractical Joker? Right?
Right. Oh, have her hang out with me. I'll teach them the basic rules of the internet.
What are you going to do? Because, I mean, you got 2 girls. By the way, bless Fly NY who keeps he's that guy at the strip club that just fans out the dollars, just goes like this.
That's him.
That's Fly NY with his generosity on those AOA memberships. He's so generous. to give those out. So if you're not a member, become a member. Link in the description below. Fastest one to join next gets the freebie on the house. Thanks to Fly NY. Thank you for your generosity, Fly. You're one of the best. Go ahead.
I don't. That is a thank you. Thank you, Fly NY. I really don't know, but since they're 6 months old, I told them this piece of advice. Don't you ever, ever, ever post pics of your punani on the internet. I said, look at me, straight in my eyes. Don't you ever post pictures of your punani on the internet.
Nice.
So,
that's solid advice.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Advice I wish Britney Spears' dad would have given her, or mom, for that matter.
Right.
Yeah.
You just...
It never goes away.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. And did I talk about this here? I think I did. Where even more so now, they have like this new scam where you get a text and it says, I saw you jerking off on your computer. Now send me money. And people, did I talk about it here?
I think you did. We talked about this briefly. Yeah.
Text and also to work emails, not regular emails. I meant to say that before. To work emails. And people, oh God, I know someone who fell for this scam. Not personally, but
it's kind of a beautiful thing because you could literally send that message to any man.
Right.
And they're all going to go, oh, fuck. Is that
any
true?
man and Janine.
And they're going to go, shit, was I near the computer when I was doing that? Was it open?
Right.
But I hung up that fucking Zoom meeting. Shit.
Right. And oops. And these people are falling for it. I just
like, I mean, that's the best. By the way, that's honestly better than.
Imagine trying to tell. Imagine you fall for it, and then you have to, and then your password gets stolen because that's what happens, and then you have to explain to the IT guy or your HR person at work. So,
here's what happened.
I got an email, and they said they would release videos of me jerking off if I didn't pay them $250 or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough conversation to have with anybody.
Right. But, I mean, it did happen. I know. Oh, God, it did happen to someone I know. So it's like, but why?
Yeah. I don't know. You got to get specifics on that. Oh, by the way, the membership went to Leisha, which is great because she was having an issue with her membership. So I'm so glad that worked out. Thanks for letting me know, Bert. Appreciate that. Yeah, but you never know when Fly NY is going to gift another one. So make sure you guys join up.
Yeah, that's true.
What were you going to say?
It's just so it's so stupid that people fall for it.
But every person whacks it near a camera, a phone, a computer, whatever.
Whacks it.
It's believable.
Well, that's the whole thing. Because it's believable, that's it.
All right, I'll tell you this story. It's not really a story, but I was weirded out because we have cameras, monitoring the house, the doors and shit like that. And we have cameras inside because we always felt like, we have babysitters and, we just nice to have a camera, just to have it, just to have. And of course we still have a camera in our kids' room, like from when they were babies. It's just,
I have that too.
Yeah. It's just been there. It's just like, until one of them comes to me and says, this is ridiculous, get this the fuck out of my room, it's going to be there. Right. So,
right.
Because again, you never know with babysitters and all that kind of shit. But it's also very strange because like my kids, change their clothes in their room. I have definitely, I'm not proud of this, but I've definitely walked by the cameras downstairs naked. Right. I mean, it's happened.
Right.
What's to stop that? Like, I feel like hacking a fucking Nest Cam has got to be the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, I know. By the way, Remind me to tell you a story about that. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I just feel like I feel like we're all so vulnerable to that. Like if somebody were to message me and be like, "Hey, I've put together a super cut of you walking back and forth in front of your camera naked, and I'm going to put it out," it would definitely cause me to go, "Shit, I don't know if I have to respond to this or not." You
Oops.
know? Yeah, like it's weird. It's really really strange. Same thing happened. Remember when they started to put those scanners in the airport that would take the negative picture of you?
Oh yeah, that
And
to
then
me
somebody
that
was
was
like,
weird.
"Oh, you just put it in Photoshop and negative the negative, and it becomes like it's like becomes skin flesh color, and all of a sudden there are all these nudie people all over the world." But we look the other way
Right.
because we're like, "Hey, we don't want our planes to get hijacked," So it's a kind of a tough world to live in right now if you don't want your naked ass just exposed on the internet. All right,
Right.
tell me your thanks to Rachel for becoming a new member. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Appreciate the support as always. It goes to just kind of fund the channel here, the podcast, the website, all the crap that we have to pay for just to put this show on. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it. What was the story you were going to say?
So I saw a friend who I've known since I'm like literal a baby, right? And she was telling the story of me. Tell me if you're surprised or not. Said that my upstairs in my mom's house, her bedroom faces the street, right? The front
Okay.
of the street. And windows face that way too. So she said she remembers when I was younger, just because this is two things that talking about pictures and whatever. I didn't take pictures, but she said I would moon the windows, meaning I would stick my ass out the window to moon people as they walk by. Now, is that like sound like something I would do?
Yes. Moon
And
people walking by? Yes.
she said when I first met my husband, she said I would wait for him to walk down the block and do it to him as well. I was 12. And
You were just criticizing a 16-year-old girl for being inappropriate in
I
DMs.
know.
And
And
now
I'm like, yeah, but you know what's funny? I did that as a joke.
it doesn't
I
count because you wound up marrying the guy.
It doesn't count because I wanted to marry him. And also I did it to be funny. Not
Right.
but I was just laughing because my daughter the other day I had not the other day, like 2 weeks ago, I had a couple over who you know. And my youngest daughter comes out and she's bare assed. And I'm like, what are you doing? And my husband's like, what did she learn this from? Well, there you go.
Now we know.
I tell my mother, she's like, well, you don't think you didn't do that? I'm like, but she's like, I do it to be funny. And I'm like, it's not funny. In my mind, I'm like, fuck, it is funny because I did the same exact thing to be funny.
Oh my God. They don't tell you the hardest thing to do as a parent sometimes is not laugh hysterical.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't know what my daughter said to my son the other day, but she fucking slammed him so hard, like put him in his fucking place. And I just wanted to laugh because it was so fucking funny. But I had to be dad and be like, that's not nice. Even though in my heart, I was like, I'm so proud of you for just
Right.
having that just cutting like sense of humor. Like she didn't say a bad word, but she looked at him and was like, "Stop being such a pussy." Like she really like the way you talk to Frank and I,
Right.
basically.
Okay,
It
even
was
better.
it was so dismissive and filled with disgust, and she just cut him down, like a tree.
Right.
Oh my God! And I was just like, I was so. She was hysterical. It was hysterical. And I can't remember what it was, but it made me laugh so fucking hard. But you
Yeah,
can't
see?
laugh. You can't
I
laugh
know.
at those things. Oh, the other day, oh my God, same thing, my daughter. She was just terrorizing the family. She
Oh, really?
picked a fight with me. She was all over my wife. She was shitting on my son. You know what she does? So I yelled at him all the time because I'm like, they have the VR mask.
Oh yeah.
And I go, when you put it on the charger, you got to let it charge. Because if you put it on and take it off and put it on and take it, you're going to kill the fucking battery.
Right.
So, you know what she does out of spite? She's playing, right? She gets a turn because she's always complaining she never gets a turn. So she's playing with it. She gets a turn and she's finally done. And she goes to put it on the charger. And I go, is that out of battery? Yeah, it's dead. I go, is it? After pushing and prodding, I go, it had 75% battery left. She just didn't want him to play on it.
Oh yeah, that's what they do all the time, my kids. Yep.
She just didn't want anyway. So she is just terrorizing the whole house. And then we're going out on Saturday. And it's so hard to get her out of the house. She's always like, I'm ready. And she's just in her underwear, just no clothes, no sock. Like, and then she'll put her shirt on. And then you're like, okay, you got to put pants on. And then you're like, now you got to put socks. And by the time you're screaming at her to put socks on so she can get shoes on to get out of the house. So finally, I just said to her, I go, I'm leaving in 2 minutes. You better be in that car or else I'm leaving without you.
Right, that's it.
So she runs upstairs to go get socks. And she's running back downstairs. And apparently she missed a couple of steps and fell on her ass.
See, that's even funnier. I do laugh at that.
I had to bite my tongue. I was almost bleeding because I didn't want to laugh at her. Like, she was okay, but she kind of got what she deserved a little bit, and it kind of calmed her
Right.
down. But she was hysterical crying. So at the same time, you feel so bad, but at the same time, it's so hilarious.
Oh no, I don't feel bad when they fall. I have a problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who falls. I have a problem. I will have uncontrollable laughter. Okay? It's my mother. It's really I can't help it.
It's all because we
really
witnessed our friend in the funniest fall ever caught on camera, and we've just had that it burned in our brains for years.
That to me is the funniest full video I have ever seen in my entire life. And that's because I know him.
Oh my
right?
God.
I don't know.
So
Maybe
good.
not.
Bird knows what we're talking about. Whoops, I tend to laugh. I think I better cancel my parenting TED Talk. Yeah, it is so hard to not laugh at your kids when they're hilarious or when they're really when one is being mean to the other. Sometimes it's like, especially because I'm in a situation where my son doesn't stick up for himself a lot of the times in school.
Oh,
Like he doesn't want to like be confrontational. And my daughter is such a bully. And so sometimes he like the other day he went back at her and I'm so caught between, dude, you don't hit first of all, you don't hit women. Second of all, you don't hit your little sister. But then there's like a third where I'm like, good job sticking up for yourself. Because it's not like she was walking along eating a lollipop and he just decided to fuck with her. She had been terrorizing the shit out of him prior to that. And finally he was like, you know, gave her a shot back, after she took the first shot at him. So it's so conflicting sometimes to be a parent.
no, because it's when my younger one gets nuts, I laugh. I can't help it because she gets so angry, she shakes. And I'm like, girl, you need to calm down. And then she's like, no, no. I'm sure I've sent you videos before her pissed off and just yelling.
Well, who's got the rage problem?
Aurelia.
No. I know that. But who out of you, because I
Me.
feel you do really, because I was just going to say your husband is so laid back and I don't see you getting mad. I see you getting angry and holding grudges. I get that part of it. But I've never seen you get like angry. I don't think I've ever seen you get angry.
No, I do, because I do hold grudges. But you mean like angry on the spot?
Yeah, like the worst I think I've ever seen you was in that fucking Outer Banks house with the goddamn air conditioning. Like I was getting mad for you. First of all,
You laughed at it though.
as
You
a
laughed
fat guy,
at it now.
well, it was hilarious to see you in discomfort. That happened at the same time. But as a heavy guy, I like it nice and cool too. I was kind of getting a little annoyed along with you,
Oh, I was so mad.
But I didn't see you lose your shit over that. I don't think I've ever seen you like scream and get angry. Yeah, I don't know. But that's you. Okay, do you do this too? As soon as we pinpoint an issue with one of our children, it is a race between my wife and I to blame the other person.
What do you mean?
Like, because there are times where our kids will exhibit some sort of behavior, and I'll just look at her and I'll go, how does that medicine taste? Your flavor? Like, I just love to dig into her. Like the other day, she goes, our son never gives me more than a one-word answer. Like she'll ask him questions like, "Hey, what happened at school today?" Or "Did this kid get in trouble for this?" Or
Right.
and she's like, "Yeah, no, yeah, no." And I'm like, "Oh, he's not forthcoming with his feelings and his thoughts." And she's like, "No." I'm like, "Isn't that frustrating? Like, isn't that annoying when somebody's just not like telling you how they're feeling or what they're going through? It could be a
Oh
little
yeah,
irritating, right?"
exactly.
Oh, it burned her ass, and she's gotten better with it. But when like we first got together, like she would hold everything in. She would never say anything.
Really, I'm surprised.
Oh my, it is surprising, right? Because she never shuts the fuck up. It's amazing. But yeah, it's true. Like, she would hold it. It's just getting a little too personal. I like giving her personal shit, but she would hold stuff in, and then she would just lose it. And then she would
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, and 2 months ago, this was bothering me." I'm like, "Okay, why don't you tell me? You should have told me 2 months ago. We could have fixed that. Like we could have alleviated that stress on you. It's not a big deal." But she would hold shit in for the longest time and then just not say stuff. And my son is like the same way. But then there's other times too. Here's the other side of that. Now we're also racing to be like, "Oh, that's me," because if you claim and admit it, it's better than the
Yes,
other partner calling you out for it.
I agree.
Oh my god! Like when my son was indecisive about something, I was like, "Okay, that's me. I'm just gonna admit to this now before you say it and shame me for it." Do you guys do that,
Exactly.
or do we just need to go to counseling?
I think you guys need. I know a good person. I'll send you the info.
All right, thanks. I appreciate that.
Oh, no
All right,
problem.
Jake. I don't have anything else. Oh, Roger Daltrey. This is interesting. Roger Daltrey of The Who admitted today he's going deaf and blind.
Wait, of the who?
The Who, the band The Who. Oh, she got me. I fucking walked right into that. One of her best exits ever. Mark it down. Monday, March 31st, 10:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. By the way, when is it not standard? Have we ever been in Eastern non-standard time? In Eastern peculiar time? In Eastern not so standard time. Why do we insist on putting that standard in there still? On Eastern average time. Was it standard? It wasn't standard. It was kind of a little all over the place time. But mark it down. Janine set me up. She laid the trap down, and I put my foot right in it, and it, like a cartoon, came up and clapped me when she said The Who, and I went to go explain to her, and she was gone before I even got the second word out. That was a brilliant exit. Anyway, Roger Daltrey is going deaf and blind. Admitted this in an interview recently, and it's so bizarre since in Tommy, that deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball, right? He wrote a whole friggin' thing around a deaf, blind kid, and now he's going deaf and blind. It feels so weird. It feels so weird to be saying that. He's got great spirits about it, though. He's like, he literally said later on in the interview, he's like, "But I can still sing, though, so fuck it." It's like, I don't need to sing. He's like, "Tommy was a mute. At least I can get shit out. I can play. I can still jam. So I'm happy. I don't need to see that." I was like, good for him. At least he's got a fucking thing to it. It was 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Was it standard? Actually, it was more substandard. It was more on the substandard side. It was 8 o'clock substandard Eastern Time. It was really fucked up. Yeah, that standard time thing really bothers me. We got to get rid of that. Who writes EST anymore? I still do it. It annoys me every time I have to write it. All right, that was a hell of a show. We'll be back on Wednesday. I will be spending from this moment until Wednesday's show, deleting all the Epstein episodes that we have ever talked about. All the bad things we ever said about Jeffrey Epstein will be gone from the internet, just so we don't get hit by a school bus one day. I mean, one day, one of these fucking stories is going to be like Epstein victim run over by play school toy truck, now in critical condition. I mean, that's how fucking absurd this stuff has become. You know, it's just so freakish, these accidents. But anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday, whatever standard time you're on. I hope it's going well for you. Don't forget, every Tuesday is a Taco Tuesday, no matter where you are in the world. So go get some tacos, celebrate life. It's all not that bad because we have tacos, right? Once we have tacos, then we have nothing. If we lose tacos, then we can start complaining about shit. But if we got tacos in the world, it's all going to be all right eventually.
Show me potato salad.
I will see you on Wednesday. I can't wait until then.
Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.